Well, good morning everyone. I hope you're having a really good weekend. So today I'm going to tell you a story from the Bible, and this story is called The Teeny Weeny True King. So let's get started. It says, God's people had a new land. Now they wanted a king. But God is your king, Samuel told them. He is the one who looks after you best. We want a real king, they said, one that we can see. God knew that a king might not be kind to the people or look after them as well as he did. But God's people didn't care. They wanted a king, and they wanted a king now. So God gave them a king. He was called Saul, and at first he seemed to be good. But he became proud and stopped listening to God. He didn't obey God or love God with his whole heart. Saul can't help me with my plan, God said. I need a king who loves me and will teach my people to love me. I need a true king. God had just the one in mind. Go to Bethlehem, God told Samuel. You'll find the new king there. You see, it was Samuel's job to listen to God and tell people what God had said. So Samuel went to this little town of Bethlehem. And God told Samuel to go to Jesse's house, because God was going to choose one of Jesse's sons to be the new king. Jesse had 7 strong sons, and in those days, if you were going to be king, you didn't have to be very rich, and you didn't have to be very clever, although it was always nice. You only had to look like a king, which meant that you had to be the tallest and the strongest, so that you could carry the longest sword and the heaviest armour and defeat everyone. And you know, it didn't hurt to be handsome either. So Samuel asked Jesse to bring him each son one by one. So Jesse brought the oldest, tallest and strongest son. This must be the new king, Samuel thought. He looks like a king. But God didn't choose him. You're thinking about what he looks like on the outside, God told Samuel. But I am looking at his heart, what he's like on the inside. So Jesse showed Samuel the next son, his next oldest, tallest and strongest son. But God didn't choose him either. And in fact, God didn't choose any of the 7 sons. Samuel said, Is that all? Jesse laughed. Oh, well, there's the youngest one, but he's just the weakling of the family. He's only teeny. Bring him, said Samuel. So Jesse's son, youngest son, came running up, and God spoke quietly to Samuel. This is the one. His name was David. He has a heart like mine, God said. It is full of love, and he will help me with my secret rescue plan. And one of his children's children's children will be the king, and that king will rule the world forever. Samuel anointed David's head with oil, which was a special way to show that you're God's chosen king. You will be the new king one day, Samuel told him. And you know, sure enough, when he grew up, David became the king. God chose David to be king because God was getting his people ready for an even greater king who was coming. Once again, God would say, go to Bethlehem, you'll find the new king there. And there, one starry night in Bethlehem, in the town of David, 3 wise men would find him. And you know, we know that king now to be Jesus. But you know, this story tells us all about what God looks for. You see, God didn't want the tallest or the strongest king. God wanted the best king, the king that had a good heart. And that's why he chose David. So we don't need to worry about what we look like. We just need to make sure that we're good with God, that we are praying to God, that we are reading God's word, and that we are doing the right thing. Because then God will be able to use us for his mission.